So this kind of leads us into why motion sickness occurs. So this will be the interesting part, actually.
Yeah, this has been so boring up to this. I'm not even interested at all.
Might as well shut it off.
No, please don't. Please don't. If you're still here, stay.
Watch the full thing. One of the reasons, obviously, could be damage to either of the systems I just described.
Mm-hmm.
And that basically, because they work together and both communicate to the brain, there will be a difference in the signals that are sent. So it's basically like scrambling the signal, or like a bad radio signal where it's all fuzzy.
Okay.
Basically. And then, like I mentioned before, I think this is the more relevant reason, is the conflict between seeing and feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you ever read in a car? Like, you probably don't because you get motion sickness. But
I used to a lot when I was younger.
mm-hmm. Did you get more motion sickness as you got older?
No, I used to get quite sick when I was younger too, I would say. But I would definitely sometimes, like, I don't know where you're going with the reading, whether it helps it or not. But usually if I was reading, then I'd end up at some point having to like just close my book and have a nap because I'd be feeling too sick. But like when I was younger, as Julian knows, like I used to get grounded from reading because I used to read so much and I wouldn't go to sleep at nighttime because I'd be reading. So I definitely used to read during car trips. And I had like, you know, back when you're young and you'd have those little clips you could put on your book so that you could see at nighttime and read. But I would say my travel sickness has gotten progressively worse as I've gotten older, because back then it used to be manageable. I just have a nap or something, but now it's like really overwhelming.
Little sidebar here. Did you get that at Scholastic's book fair? That little reading thing?
No.
I got one of those at a Scholastic's book fair. I didn't buy books ever at them. I bought cool little gadgets and posters of cars.
I love it. No, I probably would have got this one before I was in school, like when I was homeschooled still.
Right.
So I don't know. Probably got it at like Versus bookstore or something.
That makes sense. So basically, we'll get back to reading in a car here. So when you're reading in a car, you're using your eyes. And part of those, obviously your eyes are sending a signal to your brain. Mm-hmm. But when you're looking at the book, you might be able to see in your peripherals like the sides of the vehicle, but you don't see any movement. So in terms of using your eyes, you're not moving. Mm-hmm. That makes sense, right? And then likewise, in your inner ear, I was talking about those otolith organs and the vestibular system. They can detect that you're moving in the vehicle because there's acceleration, right? So do you probably get less motion sickness when you're driving, right?
I definitely do, for sure.
Can you guess why?
Because your eyes are watching the motion more than if you're like sitting in the passenger seat doing other things and not like directly paying attention to the fact that you're moving. So your eyes and what you're feeling are in sync.
Yeah. Good guess. Yeah. Well, that makes
gold star.
That's definitely a big part of it, is that you can see, you're kind of focusing, obviously looking forward, and you can see in the distance, and it's not something right beside you that's like moving real fast.
Yeah, so it's probably really bad just staring out the passenger window.
Yeah, I would say it's probably worse. We'll get later on here, we'll go into how you can fix or prevent yourself from getting motion sickness. So we'll get some tips there. But part of why driving actually gives you less motion sickness is your brain learns to anticipate movements and stuff like that. So when you're driving, your hands are able to control the steering wheel. Your body knows when something's going to move. So it's not tricked. So you're probably just constantly just like, holy man, Julian.
Pretty much.
I don't know why I made that voice for you, but
Like an old Southern man now. Is that what I sound like to you?
oh no. No, you don't. You definitely don't. Yeah. Do you also get motion sickness on boats?
Honestly, I've not been on very many boats.
Yeah,
so
that's
I
what
don't
I figured
think
when
I
I was
can
writing this.
answer
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet I would.
I also agree. The same thing occurs on boats as in vehicles, right? It's called seasickness, though.
Mhm.
So you've obviously, everyone's heard of that.
I've gotten seasickness on the boat ride at West Edmonton Mall.
Have you actually?
You know, the big boat that goes like.
Oh, yeah. That counts as seasickness.
Sure.
I think so.
Let's say it.
So seasickness usually happens when you're below the deck and you can't see out.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go out, you can look at the horizon and it usually helps.
I've definitely heard that before.
So that's where the term sea legs comes from.
Sea legs?
Sea legs.
Okay.
Like you got your sea legs and then you don't have motion sickness anymore.
Okay. Because they're just saying that you're able to like find your balance well enough when you're on the boat that
Yeah. Like I mentioned before, driving the vehicle, your body learns to anticipate the movement of the waves, the swaying back and forth. And then when you get your sea legs, you actually, if you've been out at sea long enough, your body feels like it's swaying when you get back on land.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah. And it can last, apparently it can last up for a couple weeks.
It just makes me think of like the Little Mermaid. Sea legs.
I'm thinking of like Pirates of the Caribbean for some reason. This whole time I've just been thinking of pirates.
Aye, aye, Captain. Thinking of Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I guess that's probably subliminally. We've been listening to the trial, so.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else out there has been spending their time listening to Johnny Depp and the name that we won't say is trial in the background, but we have been, and it's been very interesting.
Screw her.
Oh, that's harsh language, but yes.
Well, she deserves it. She is a bad person.
Yeah, facts.
So what do you think happens when there's no gravity? Can your body can't anticipate the sway of the ocean and know what's up or down?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about that before, but I imagine it would cause you to feel very sick and unstable if your body is like, I don't know, like the liquid in your head. Like, how would it be balanced?
Yeah, exactly. And those other things, there's no gravity to cause a shearing force on those hairs.
Yeah. So we're talking about some astronauts now? Are we heading on to our NASA stuff?
Yes, yeah. So it's really common actually, because there's no up and down, that astronauts will feel like they're constantly upside down when they first get to space.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it does. Because obviously, I was trying to picture, I don't think I would be able to understand what it feels like, because when you're sitting or laying, whatever, upside down on Earth, the blood is like rushing to your head, so it feels like full.
Yeah. And like really heavy then. So I wonder what that feels like for an actual astronaut.
Yeah, it would be weird. It would be very confusing and hard to orient yourself.
Yeah. So tell me more then. I'm assuming that you've learned a little bit about how the astronauts are able to cope with this.
Actually, have you ever like heard about or taken a course on like the safety of like snowboarding or anything like that in the mountains? How they have those like blow up vests and all that stuff and like stakes.
Nope.
No?
I definitely have not. It's like, I've been on the bunny hill. I don't remember learning about stakes and blow up suits though.
Yeah. That's another thing is when you're covered in an avalanche, you have no way of knowing what is up and down because everything looks white.
That definitely makes sense, and that makes me feel very, very, very uncomfortable thinking about being covered by snow.
Apparently, I don't know. I think you're supposed to like wiggle a little bit to get some room. Oh, I don't even want to think of that. That sounds scary.
Oh my gosh, like what if you were wiggling down,
Right?
like taking deeper into the snow? Oh my goodness. This is not. We need to get this episode done. I'm having so many uncomfortable feelings.
Well, one of the ways they say is to spit. So you know which is down.
How would you have room to spit?
I don't know.
Like, I'm just picturing that the snow is like covering your face.
Well, it would probably go away a little bit. You just breathe.
Julian's gonna be so mad when he's editing this. Just breathe.
Not. Well, you would spit. If you spit and you're facing upwards, it would just stay in your like face.
I guess you could eat some of the snow. How long? Okay, this is like so off topic, but I'm just wondering about how long you could survive. Like, I guess it would depend how much snow is on top of you too, because the weight of the snow and stuff. So
these sticks are supposed to be quite long. I think they serve two purposes. One, you can create a little air hole so you can get some air because you actually will suffocate apparently. And also, I think it has like a little flag or it's colored so people can see that you're trapped under there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's really good that they have that because very sad to lose somebody to that.
Yeah, really off topic, but we'll get back to astronauts in space.
Okay.
They experience something called visual reorientation illusions.
Okay.
So again, this is part of how your body understands where it is because it uses your eyes for a lot of that. And the illusion is created because our brain responds and interprets visual information differently from our body. And body, I mean like ears and all that stuff, right? I did find a study that was done at York University.
Represent.
Yeah. Woo, woo.
York U. Go Lions.
Is that what they are? I think, yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before.
Real
So much school spirit.
Yeah. I guess like even my stats professor, he was part of this visual lab thing. Thingamajigga. So I think it's a pretty good lab and notable.
What did they do?
Well, there's it's a big, I guess I just mean like it's a big lab. And there's a lot of different projects going on. Oh, you mean for this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get back on topic. Use.
AKA, why did you bring them up?
Yes. Good point.
Besides representing York U.
Yeah. They used VR headsets to change the visual stimuli showing the up and down, basically, if that makes sense. So they would be laying in a certain position or standing in a certain position, and then in the VR headset,
it would look like the opposite.
Yeah, kind of thing or something.
So their body would still feel like they were standing straight up and down, but visually it would look like they were upside down.
Apparently, when they did that, people did feel like that was up and down and stuff, but based on what they saw.
So you're saying that changing the visual element changed their physical feeling of being upside down?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's very interesting. But then they actually found that some people are more susceptible to, I guess, being tricked, having this illusion, whereas some other people were quickly able to match what they seen, or like differentiate what they seen and where their body actually was.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that kind of seems to provide some evidence why motion sickness could happen in some people than others.
So we're saying that I am not good at distinguishing. I would do very bad in that experiment.
Probably. Sorry, babe.
Dang, can't win them all.
And they also, they tried to predict who would, and there was no, they couldn't predict it.
So just completely random.
Yeah. Even some astronauts that, because I think they go through G-force tests and motion to test them before they go to space.
Yeah, they definitely do.
And some of the people that did very well handling G-forces on Earth and stuff will have this problem in space and have the most motion sickness.
So they need to start doing this test with astronauts then.
Yeah.
That's actually such a sad thing, though, that some people can train for a long time to try to become an astronaut and then get disqualified just because, of something in their body that they have no control over.
Yeah, what did they do? Like, where do those skills translate? I guess probably to military of some sort.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. I don't really know what kind of skills they acquired during astronaut training, but
I think a lot, because they have to be very skilled in a lot of things, because there's no one else up there to help them, right?
Oh yeah, a lot, but
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics and how it would translate to something. But I assume if you become highly qualified and skilled at something, it would help you get some other kind of job.
Well, it looks really good on the resume, I would say.
Astronaut training?
Yeah. Training provided by NASA.
I guess if the training was at NASA specifically.
Something like that, yeah.
Probably not so much if it was just in your backyard. Self-taught astronaut.
Sounds like a crazy guy that has his own blog that's all green and purple. You know what I mean?
The blog is green and purple?
Yeah, the blog online. It's just like very poorly, just a conspiracy theory blog. And he's got his own radio show.
Like a all black background with like neon writing on it.
Yes, yeah.
I can envision it.
So to prevent this illusion from happening on the space station, they make sure that all the computers, lettering, all that kind of stuff run in the same direction. So I just picture like a big tube, obviously, and the words would go around the tube, like along the side of it, right? But then no matter where you come from in the space station, there's always one side that like is up and down, I guess, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So no matter if the tubes are facing different directions and stuff, all the lettering will have the same downside.
Okay.
So then when they change directions and stuff, they know which is down.
Okay.
So, and then they can anticipate the way where they are, obviously. And so I'm gonna coin a term here. I hope I'm the first to say this. Getting your space legs.
You're not the first to say it, I promise you.
I don't know. It's a pretty smart term.
It is a smart term, which is why I think it's probably been used already. There's just... You didn't Google it?
No. Why would I Google it if I created it?
Be one of those people who like writes a paper and never cites anybody else in it because they're like, oh, I'm definitely the first person to have this unique idea. Meanwhile, there's like a huge literature out there filled with it.
Probably a whole university devoted to it.
Probably something's come out of York U about space legs.
Okay.
Is there such a thing as car legs?
Car legs.
train legs,
Get your
plane
train
legs.
Yeah. Well, you get your sea legs. Maybe it'll be
I've
land
got my
legs.
couch legs for sure. I
think
feel very good on the couch.
Get your couch legs. And so then couch legs would be when you stand up. You get those tingly things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That would be a good way to describe
Wait,
it.
is that is that just because you like cut off your circulation though while you're sitting?
Yeah. Get your couch legs. It's from getting up too
50%
fast
off.
too.
Come and get them.
I think it would be called land legs though. Car legs, train legs, all that.
I guess
And then
so.
air legs.
So air legs instead of space legs.
Well, you'd have space legs, but on a plane you'd have air legs,
Okay.
I think. Our last little segment here. We're just like going off on all these little tangents here. Hopefully it's
We
not
haven't
too bad.
recorded in a while, so we're getting back into the whole talking and speaking with the camera.
Yeah. A little nervous.